In this tutorial, we'll be creating an avatar to use within a virtual reality experience for the Vive. And we'll be using the Vive trackers for tracking the feet and the hips. We'll be using a free software for creating the avatar and then import that into Unity. Let's go ahead and get started. Start with Makehuman. You can download from makehuman.org. And a tongue, and also some eyes. High poly or low poly, let's make it low poly eyes. And then in pose animate, you want to use CMU, MB. I found that this works best with Mechanism in Unity. Then go to export, export FBX. Okay, let's switch over to Unity, and we created a new project, and I'll create a new folder. I like to create a folder called _project to keep our main project at the top, and create a models folder and also a materials folder. Inside the models folder, we will drag in the FBX that we created. Actually, let's drag in the textures first into the models directory. Then we'll drag in the FBX, and there we have it. Let's go ahead and bring the man that we created into Unity. Let's take a look and make sure everything looks okay. If you need to fix the eyes, if they're covered over, I think the high poly eyes, you need to do this. You can go to brown eye, change this to fade, actually. The other thing, I like to bring down the smoothness so it's not so shiny. Actually, the eyes can be shiny, so we can keep that higher. But as far as the suit, let's bring down the smoothness, and also the shoes will bring down the smoothness. There's also a normal map for the shoes, so we'll drag that in. Here's the shoes normal. We need to convert that first to normal map. Click apply, go back to the shoes diffuse, drag over the shoes normal. And you can use GIMP to create normal maps for the suit and the skin, which make it look a little more realistic. If you'd like to see a video on how to do that using GIMP, go ahead and make a comment. The next thing, we have the short. The short is actually the hair. So to make the hair look a little better, you can see it poking through here. It looks pretty fake. So you want to change that to fade. Looks much better. Also, we just have a diffuse map for the hair. Let's bring down the smoothness so it's not quite so shiny. The teeth, we'll just bring that down a little bit. Tongue, and his skin, actually. So there is a normal map. Actually, I created a normal map in GIMP for his skin here. First, let's bring down the shininess a little bit and drag in the normal map, and you can kind of I think the problem actually with the skin is the normal map. Go ahead and click fix with the normal map and without. So you can see slight difference. Makes it look a bit more realistic. Now let's create an empty game object. We'll name this targets, and another 3D object plane, which we'll call floor. Inside of our materials folder, let's create a material, which we'll name floor, and change the color of that to gray. First of all, let's set the floor, zero out the position, and drag in the floor material onto the floor. The other thing I like to do is to go into project settings, quality, turn on anti-aliasing, turn down the pixel light count, will help a bit. And let's go ahead and save the scene. Okay, so the next thing to do, we have the floor texture. Import the SteamVR plugin. So the first thing we'll do, go into SteamVR, prefabs, drag in the camera rig. So the targets were created for the trackers. So we need 3 objects: left foot, right foot, and we want to create a sphere in each of these, and we'll make them 0.1 just so we can see the location of them. On the sphere, let's put the track device object, track to object, SteamVR track to object. So the left foot we'll put as device 5, right foot device 6, and the hip tracked object we'll add to device 7. So the way that it's ordered, HMD is device 0, and then device 1 is base station 1, base station 2, left controller, right controller, and then the trackers, and so on. So it's dependent on the ordering in which you connect the Vive trackers. Now we just need the FinalIK, so let's go ahead and import that. This dialog saying show Unity Splashscreen says current equals true, use recommended false. This keeps coming up unless you change an option if you're using the free version. A way to fix that is go under SteamVR editor, SteamVR settings, and here you can change show Unity Splashscreen, change this from false to true as a recommended value. Okay, so now we have the FinalIK. So the reason I like FinalIK for controlling the man for any character in VR is that it not only moves the arms, so you connect up the arms and the feet, you can also connect the hips and other body parts. Other IK assets also do that, but the difference is that this has locomotion. So I'll go ahead and show you that. VRIK, and when you open references, see there's nothing as populated in here. And the problem is that when we first brought in our model, our FBX from Makehuman, we forgot to change the rig from generic to humanoid. So if you change that to humanoid, click apply, and then we'll go back. Now you can see that all the references are populated. We'll change the names of, and we'll go back to the man, go into the spine, so the head target will actually be, we want to add a target underneath the eyes. So let's create another sphere, 0.1, and it will be actually under the camera eye, not the camera head. And let's call this the head target. Similarly, under the controller, let's just use an empty under the controllers. So let's call this left hand target. Similarly, on the right, create an empty, and we'll call it right hand target. Okay, go back to the man. So the head target is here. Pelvis target is this, is actually this hip target here, right? Hip target. So for now, we're tracking the position and weight of the head only, and we have the the pelvis position set at 0. So we'll just see what that looks like along with the left and right arms. Left arm target, right arm target. There's a lot of other options you can play with. Left leg, we'll do the LF target. Right leg is this right foot target. And so this local motion is what I like about the FinalIK. It will actually move the avatar around. You don't have to mess with the root position and make it look realistic where the character's feet will step as it moves. Okay, so now we have it set up. And let's go ahead and save the scene. We have the controllers turned on, and now let's turn on the tracker that we'll use for our left foot, and it's paired. Then the right foot is paired, and then our hips, and that is paired as well. And let's go ahead and play our scene. So right now the scene is just using, we just have the head, and the head and the controllers are controlling where the character is. And so we have our left and right hands here, and I have my headset in my lap. First thing we'll do, we'll line up the headset so that it is right in between his eyes. Let's change the lighting a little bit so we can see his face a little better. Okay. So right now you can see that the camera is actually inside of his head somewhere. And actually one of the problems is we're just showing the main camera. We forgot to disable that camera. So let's go ahead and stop, delete the main camera, and now this is the camera that is associated with the actual headset now. Okay, so now you can see the inside of the eyes and the face and the teeth. We don't want to see that, so we want to line up this camera with the middle of his eyes. So the way you do that is you take this right hand target, not the right hand, the head target actually, and let's move it back and up slightly, so it actually down, so it moves his head down. It's the reverse because it's the target, and let's make the gizmo a little smaller so you can see exactly where it is. So move it right so the camera's right in the middle there. So now when we look down and around, we don't see the inside of the head. We want to save these positions. So we have the head target, copy component. Because it doesn't save the positions in play mode, then you need to stop it. Go to the head target again, due to paste component values. Click play, let's test it out a little bit. Okay, it looks good. So now let's focus on the hands. So what we'll do is go to the target, go into rotate, we'll rotate the position of the hand, and move the hand into the position where it would be on the tracker. Again, copy component, stop play mode, paste component values, and play again. And that looks fairly good. Now let's work on the other hand. Rotate around. Should actually be rotated this way. There we go. Let's take a look inside how it looks. Make sure your targets are, go to your targets, look at the spheres, make sure they're where you want. They're associated with the right trackers. Left foot, right foot, and hip. Yep. Okay. So now go to the man, and we'll go to the solver, spine. First, let's get the pelvis. I like to just set the pelvis position, but not the weight. So you can see how he starts moving towards the location of the tracker as I put that up. So I'll just put it around 0.5 rotation. Let me put it on me so it will be a little bit better. A little closer to where I am. And I have it right on my back, lower back here, near my hips. I have my headset on at the same time, so it's not tracking the hips. The problem is that there's an offset in this game object. You got to make sure that that's 0. So reset that. Same with these. So let's look at that again. As soon as it starts tracking. Okay, so again, as we turn up the position tracking, if we make it all the way 1, and then we move the hip target, not the hip target, but actually the hip. This is why we have an extra level of hierarchy, so we can move the parent of the target. So if you can use the controller to align, I put it right up against the tracker, and then I just move the parent of the hip target until it matches. And again, just do copy component, stop, paste component values. Turn on pelvis position, connect up left leg, turn up the position all the way to 1, and let's take a look at that. Okay, there we go. If we turn up the rotation weight, you can see that it rotates in the wrong direction. So to fix that, let's go rotate this. Like that. If you have it on the foot, then it will track your actual foot instead of just your leg. Alright, to line up the foot, put it on the ground next to your foot. can use that as a gauge where your foot is, the direction of your foot, the angle. Okay, so the trick is we want the SteamVR tracked object to be on the parent, not on the child, not on the actual target, and then we can move the target around. Then when you rotate, you won't change it incorrectly. Let's go ahead and move the right one. What we'll do, copy component, move it into the parent, paste component as new, and then we'll delete the tracked object on the child. So let's take a look at that. Does that still look good? Yep, it's lined up fairly well. Now we'll do the other tracker. Turn on right foot position and rotation. So again, we'll go to right foot target, rotate it, reposition it. Alright, then let's copy that, stop, and paste component values. Got to turn on the man's right leg position and rotation in while it's stopped. Here we go.